Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to do GPU pass-through on an Arch Linux install. I'm not entirely sure how to do it on Debian. It's probably very similar, and you can probably find tutorials for that online. This is mainly what should generally work, and it works for me. We're cutting out all the bullshit like blacklisting and all that shit, which is stupid. If you have two NVIDIA cards, you can't blacklist, because how the fuck you gonna see, you know? So, anyways, I don't know these commands off rip, but I'm gonna provide these commands to you. So first off, I'm gonna be following this guide right here. I just picked a random guide, and I'm just gonna go off of it based off what I know. I don't know these things by heart, that's why I need the guide. So first off, you're gonna enable IOMMU in your BIOS. So like for example here, this is an ASRock BIOS. You look up using the little search tool, or there should be like some search tool somewhere in your BIOS. You turn on IOMMU and SVM. I believe that's only for AMD. I have an AMD card. I'll actually show you my specs. So yeah, this is it right here. I have a Ryzen 7 5800X. And for my main system, this system right here, I'm using a 1060, and I pass through my Radeon 7 into my virtual machine. So I was able to get the NVIDIA pass through working, which I'll show you that. The AMD was a little bit trickier, not trickier, but it was, I had to change it up a little bit, slightly. Uh, but so first things first, make sure that your IOMMU is enabled in your BIOS, whether you're using AMD or Intel, and then you're gonna go here. So let me just give you the command for that. You're gonna do whatever you're using Nano. Sometimes I use Nano. Sometimes I use Vim. For this example, just to make it more colorful and easily readable, I'm gonna use NeoVim with a combination of NVChad. This is NVChad, and let me show you that. So it's gonna be slash etc slash default slash grub. This is your grub configuration. So if you see here on, it may be a different line depending on the text editor. It shouldn't be, but for me it's line 6, the grub CMD line Linux default. So you can see I have log level, I have the encrypted device, splash, and then AMD underscore IOMMU goes on. So you have to add that. If you have Intel, as it shows here, you do Intel underscore IOMMU equals on. If you have AMD, you do AMD underscore IOMMU equals on. Also, in this line right here, it might say quiet. You're gonna want to remove that just in case some hooks go wrong, which I'll show you later. Just so that you have logs, you can see if it goes wrong. Because if it's on quiet, it won't show you. So after that, after you add that, you're going to exit out whatever you're using. So Control X for Nano. Make sure you save it. Make sure you use sudo if you need to use sudo to save it. If you're using any type of Vim or VI or anything, so uh, you would do the colon WQ. Can't open file for writing permissions. I didn't do sudo, so I'm just gonna quit. But you right quit exclamation point. And right here is the command. I was actually looking for this command because I don't know these off rip, but I know this works. So that's the main thing. Doesn't matter if I know this shit by heart. So yeah, you would just do this. Let me see, to rebuild the grub, and OS4 will not be executed. Yeah, there's no issues with the grub. You can just read that there. Let me actually, just so it's easier for you guys to see. Okay, there we go. I removed the opacity from it, so it's easier for you guys to see. So yeah, you rebuild the grub, and then after that, you should reboot. I'm not gonna reboot because I already have this as my grub. So I rebuilt the grub, but it doesn't really matter. It's the same exact fucking grub. So move on to the next part. Okay, so next what you're gonna do is you're gonna find the actual IDs for your GPU, whichever one you're using. I know there's a lot of guides online that reference IOMMU groups, but I've never really ran into that issue. If you do run into that issue, there's not a tutorial for that, because I don't know how to fix that issue. This just works for me, which I think is the general thing. I think this works for most people. So let me let me enlarge this. So we're gonna go LSPCI, and I know that this is a whole bunch of shit, but let's say if you have LSPCI, we do grep NVIDIA. Shit, did I do that wrong? Does it pop up as NVIDIA? It should pop up as NVIDIA. The I think it's case sensitive. Damn. Yeah. So LSPCI grep NVIDIA shows up the NVIDIA cards that you have. So you can see I have the 1060. This is the main graphics card for my actual Linux distribution, Arch. So we're not passing this through today, but I'll show you as far as NVIDIA how to pass that through. I'm not gonna pass through this one either. Uh, Damn, I forgot all the USB shit. We're gonna do Radeon. Matter of fact, let me clear this up. So this is the actual card that I have passed through to my VMs. The Radeon 7. Radeon 7 was a bit of a bitch to get working, just because NVIDIA cards tend to work without installing drivers onto the virtual machine. But for some reason, Radeon didn't work, so I thought I did the pass-through wrong. But I didn't do the pass-through wrong. I just had to install the drivers. And AMD makes you install some stupid ass, that GeForce Experience shit. It's kind of like that. They make you install that stupid shit, and it doesn't detect the driver, so you have to go to a different type of installer, which I'll show you. But yeah, so I believe the command is lspci-nnk. You can either, I think you can just do -n. Let me see. -nn. Yeah, you can just do dash or -nnk or -nn, and it'll pop up. What you really need is these right here. So you can see for my Radeon 7, it is 10266AF, and then for the audio component, it is 1002AB20. So reflecting back on the Grub configuration, what you're going to do is you're going to add here, once it gets there, vfio-pci.ids equals, and then you're going to add those. So 10266AF, you can see those match, and then a comma in between them, and yeah, make sure you end that with a quote. So yeah, a comma in between them, no space. And then after that, so yeah, add that. And then let me move from it just so you can see it. So you can add it right after the IOMMU that we added. And then WQ exclamation point to save. But I already have it saved, so I just do :Q. And then from there you would perform this command again. I'm not going to perform it, but you perform that command again, and then you would reboot. Okay, so now we're going to follow the Arch Linux tutorial, because the other one was doing some bullshit. I didn't even double check that guide. I was just going off of what I know is correct and what works. But yeah, it went to shit. So after that, after you reboot, you're going to go ahead and create this file if it's not already created. It's going to be, so nano, whatever text editor you use, /etc/modprobe.d/vfio.conf. And we go into that. Here I have options vfio-pci, and then the IDs of the GPUs, or the GPU, the audio component. I forgot to mention that if you have a USB component to it, you should also add that to everything else that was added. Apologize about that. You should have added that as well. All those IDs. All the IDs attached to the graphics card, you should add those. But all I have is the audio and the VGA component or VGA controller. So yeah, you do options VFIO-PCI IDs and then add the IDs afterwards, similar to how you did in the Grub config. And then after that, this is a very important part: soft-dep DRM pre VFIO-PCI. This is very important for NVIDIA cards. So if you have a NVIDIA card, you'll replace DRM with NVIDIA. If you have an AMD card, you'll put DRM. I know with NVIDIA cards, this is extremely important just because the NVIDIA drivers load up really fucking fast. So they're going to snatch that shit before VFIO can get it. I'm not entirely sure for AMD, but I just put it in there because I used to use an NVIDIA card for Passthrough, and now I use AMD. And I was like, fuck it, let me not run into any issues. Let me just do the same for AMD. So very important piece to add. This I wasn't able to do GPU Passthrough for a long time because I did not know this. This is very important. So yeah, go ahead and save that. I'm not going to save it because I already have it. Quit. And then you're going to go to uh, this right here, this file, the mkinit CPIO, and use whatever text editor. You're going to go into it. In modules, you're going to add VFIO underscore PCI in VFIO, just like that. And then you're going to go down here, and you're going to add somewhere in here. I put it between microcode and KMS. I'm not sure how your hooks will look, but you add modconf, this right here. And that's all you had to add. Make sure to save that. I'm not going to save it because I already have it. And you're going to perform, let me see, let me get the command right here. So you're going to perform this command right here, mkinit cpio-p linux. I'm not sure if you can see that. I'm going to actually put it in the terminal so you can see it better. I'm going to add sudo at the beginning because I know a lot of commands that people post online don't have sudo, and then you run it thinking you don't have to use sudo, but you do have to use sudo, and it's just annoying. So I'm gonna add sudo because more than likely you're gonna need sudo for this. If you're even if you're in the sudo file, you still have to use sudo. So sudo mkinit cpio-p linux. You're gonna run that. That's gonna update the hooks and the modules and shit like that. And if you have two kernels installed, Linux and Linux LTS, then after you're done running that, you're going to add hyphen LTS at the end, and you're going to run that as well. And then after that, you're going to go ahead and reboot. After rebooting, you should be able to do lspci-nnk in order to show what drivers are attached to your graphics card. You can't use grep here because it won't pop up, so you're just going to have to bear with me and sort through this. So, as you can see here, I have it on this slot right here. You can see that the kernel modules for the AMD card is AMD GPU, and the kernel module for the audio device is HDA Intel. But you can see the current kernel driver in use for these is VFIO-PCI. It should look like that. If it doesn't look like that, then you might have to troubleshoot a little bit more, but this has always worked for me. So let's go to my actual NVIDIA card. So you can see this is what it looks like whenever it's not able to snatch it up in time. So the kernel driver in use is NVIDIA, but this is for my main Linux system. And then the kernel driver in use is the HDA Intel. So yeah, the card you're trying to pass through should look like this. VFIO PCI should have snagged it. If it didn't, go back, make sure you did things right, and or troubleshoot some more. It may be a other underlying issue. Okay, and then after that, you can pretty much, after you reboot and all that, and it says VFIO PCI is the kernel driver in use, you can pretty much just run, well, you have to install the shit first. Wait, let me get the commands for that. So, sorry about that. So what you're gonna do, I just copied this command from tutorial. This is again for Arch. I don't know what pack AUR is. I guess that's a different type of, like, I use Yay. Uh, So sudo pacman hyphen capital S, remove that install, and this is what you're gonna run. So you can install QEMU, libvirt, the OVMF, and virt manager. So when you install this, I'm not trying to reinstall this just cause. So yeah, these should be the packages: the OVMF, libvirt, QEMU base, virt manager. Whenever you install QEMU, it's probably going to ask you, more than likely, it's going to ask you if you want to install base, some other shit, and then full. Depending on how much you really want to do with the virtual machines, I'd say just install full if you have the space for it. If not, just install base. I'm not really entirely sure the difference, but if it doesn't work, then just go ahead and uninstall it and install the full then. But I already have this installed, so I'm going to say no. After you install that, you should go ahead and reboot just to refresh everything. And then after rebooting, go ahead and run shit sudo virt manager. So you can see here I have a couple VMs. I have my Windows VM, which is what I use mainly for GPU pass-through. So we have here. Let's look at the actual context. So you can see here I have my Radeon 7 pass-through, and if you want to add it, if you don't want to go the whole verse route, like I'll show you here, because verse sometimes is fucky. Verse edit Windows dash 10. Yeah, like it wants to use VI so badly. I don't understand. You'd have to use root in order to edit it if you want to edit it with your editor. I don't know. I gotta fix that shit. I don't know. But that's typically how you'd edit it if you have VI. Matter of fact, let me just install VI real quick. Fuck it. Okay, now it doesn't want to work. Yeah, the internet's kind of fucky. Uh, so yeah, but if you just want to use the GUI interface, Virt Manager, it's just way easier. If you want to do just basic shit like adding PCI host devices, if you want to do evdev where you do the whole pass through of your mouse and keyboard, that's a whole separate thing. You can look that up. That's really not that hard to do. So yeah, you would go through here, and then you just look for your card, and then you add those, which I already added them. And there's one more thing, the OVMF I had you install. It should be, where the fuck is it at? It's the BIOS. Right here. So firmware is UEFI. Chipset Q35. Let me actually pull that up real quick. So yeah, referencing Mental Outlaws video right here. Whenever you're setting up the VM, I'm not gonna go through the process of setting up a VM because that shit is dumb easy. You just add whatever you want, how much RAM, how many CPU cores you want to pin, shit like that. Whenever you're initially setting it up, it's gonna ask you uh, if you want to finish up. Like, in fact, you know what? I'll just go through it. I'll really just go through it. Oh, I gotta close this out. We gotta reopen Virt Manager. So new, we'll do manual install. Fuck it. Let's do Windows 10, Windows 11. Fuck it. Forward, forward. Select the creative module. Forward. Ah, she don't want. It wants me to install some shit. Fuck it. Create a disk. I really don't want to create a disk. Enable storage. No, fuck storage. You're gonna click customize configuration before install, and you're gonna finish. Make sure you click that. That's very important so you can change the firmware. You're gonna go here and chipset. I'm not really sure about the chipsets. Just keep that shit on Q35 just to stay safe. And then you're gonna go here and you're going to select what did he select? Just because I know his shit works for sure. OMVMF underscore code FD. Oh shit. FD, so right here, this should work right here. I think it gave me the default UEFI just because I already have that shit loaded or some shit like that, probably defaulted. But yeah, you would use this one right here. OVMF underscore code FD for your BIOS. Then you would click apply, and then you would click begin installation. So yeah, just how many CPUs you want to attach, memory, all that stupid shit. I'm gonna cancel this install because I don't give a fuck. Um, After that, you would boot into the system. I'm gonna actually show you. NVIDIA card should not be a problem. It's pretty much the end of the tutorial for GPU pass-through. Uh, NVIDIA card should not be a problem initially booting and just connecting like an HDMI or a display port to the card. Uh, AMD, like the Radeon 7, might give you. Nah, I'm not gonna say might. It is gonna give you a problem because it gave me a problem. You would have to go to AMD drivers. Let's see. So Linux drivers. Oh no, not Linux drivers. Wait. Okay, it's trying to make me install. Do not install this stupid shit, Adrenaline Edition, because it's not gonna detect it. You need to install this right here, the Pro Edition. Yeah, you need to install Pro Edition. Will detect, for example, the Radeon 7 in the virtual machine, and then you'll be able to use the display port and HDMI ports on the graphics card after that. So you have to set this up for at least the Radeon 7 from what I know. I'm not sure other AMD cards. But use Pro Edition, do not use stupid ass Adrenaline Edition because that shit will not detect the card for some reason. I don't know why. And then NVIDIA, you can just install the NVIDIA drivers however you want. They should work out of the box as far as attaching it to the ports. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. If you guys have any questions or shit like that, you can just comment down below. I should be able to get back to you. I mean, I'll get a notification on my phone. So I can literally just hop on Discord or whatever the fuck, help you guys out if I can. But yeah, that's the end of the video.